So I wanted to just make a quick update. I was asked recently, because I haven't been putting up too many videos or stuff, was I after giving up on this? And well, I'm not. I have some personal issues going on and I'm dealing with that at the moment. We all know how I'm speaking about the actions of politicians pulling strings for people working up in their charity and stuff. And well, I have these clowns basically follow me around while I'm trying to deal with these personal issues. And like, this is how desperate these people are. We all know I'm talking about historic sexual abuse that went on in a charity in town. We all know who I'm even talking about it without even going into it. From what I understand, actually, he was arrested again a day or two ago. Not sure if this is true. I'm only going by what I heard now. Anybody else looking to come forward with him, they should come forward. But as I said, they should probably speak to a solicitor out of town, because the solicitors in town are sharing information. Not all of them, but some of them are. So like, there's a potential for the information to go back. And if you judge by the pressure that's been put on me to suppress this, and how political networks and Garda have all kind of like tried to influence me to drop in this, I would suggest definitely going to a solicitor out of town. So I just want to read one or two things here now, and I'll be back. I made my own website there. I won't upload it yet because, as I said, with personal issues. But I have my own .com, and I'm going to upload a whole lot of it with the whole explanation of all this. And whether I get somewhere or not is irrelevant, really. I just want to do it for myself now more than nothing, and for my daughter, if I'm being honest with you. And there's going to be some crazy stuff in it. I'll probably come across some kind of crazy, but like, it's all true. Hence the reason to push to keep this suppressed. And I just want to point out, if anyone thinks this is about all that kind of sexual shit that they spread about me, like, if that was the case, they wouldn't be covering up the historic sexual abuse that went on up in the charity. So it's not really about any sexual kind of allegations or any stuff like that, because they're covering up the stuff that went on up there while they spread this shit about me. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's not. So what they're doing is about the suppression of information, which is what's happening in my case. They're suppressing this information, and they're also suppressing the information of what happened up in that charity. Do you know what I mean? Which is a long thing coming in. So that's what the real reason is. We all know I've spoken about Mr. Conan and his cronies and how they got involved wrongly and dragged Sinn Féin's name into it. And unfortunately now Sinn Féin has taken to supporting Mr. Conan. So like, I will call Sinn Féin out. About 10 days ago, I wrote to all parties, and the reason I wrote to all parties, because I didn't expect any of them to get involved, if I'm being honest, but I wanted to show that they all know of the information and they won't dare fucking stand up to the likes of Sinn Féin. They're quite happy to stand on the sidelines and take their pensions and shit, and while this questions the very integrity of the system, they won't question why, who, how. You know what I mean? There's loads of questions with this. And if what I'm saying about them is true, it should be investigated. If what they're saying about me, it should also be investigated, should it not? So the only way to deal with this is through transparency. While people involved in, they basically wave this shit in your face. Don't try and push for transparency. Like, just kind of like stay focused on the shit they're spreading about me. So I just have a few words that I want to say, and then I'm going to have to take a break because I have other stuff to deal with. People will assume I have an issue with Sinn Féin as a party, which I don't. I had an issue with David Conan and his cronies. Everyone in Waterford knows this. I also understand how Sinn Féin as a party has been fed a one-sided story and a chain of events. I have offered, and I'm always open to giving my side of events, but they have no interest. I have never been taken up on this. I don't believe any genuine, true Republican would condone the string pulling and the corruption that's now going on within the party. Not to mention the criminality and the fucking like glorified harassment and behaving like some kind of fucking mafia. I said it before, this has nothing to do with politics. This is just people trying to protect their reputation. As they put the cart before the horse, they spread all this shit about me, and then when I fought it, then they were like, well, just present this stuff, and then they were like, well, actually, I got it off of this person, I got it off of this person, and I went the whole way back to my ex. This was done 3 times, and all 3 times it was traced back to my ex. So basically, it was my ex. So now they're just trying to protect their reputations and their careers and their pensions, and that's what it's really about. I know this seemed like a battle that I'm never going to win, but as I said, like this was never about winning for me. It was about standing my ground, and if nothing else, and they won't win, but I'd show the collusion among certain parties and among certain people, and this is basically what you're facing up against in Waterford, like. And anyone wanting to come forward regarding the shit that went on up in that charity, we all know the nepotism. Like, you have a family more or less fucking like draining the funds out of that fucking charity up there for many years, while they use it as some kind of fucking torch that they've done so much for Waterford. And realistically, they should have been investigated. Like, you have a chairman up there now after having a relationship with a student that was going there. I spoke already about what I seen going up there because I used to work. I worked there for nearly 2 years, and I worked with other people, and I believe he was an employee, one of the chairman at the time, and he proactively followed this young one around who he ended up getting into a relationship with. So before he was promoted, the ethics of him getting into a relationship with that girl should have been investigated before he got any kind of a promotion. But I wasn't, because of nepotism going on up there. And just like, as we know, I can't say any names, the allegation regarding a certain person, and we all know how certain people will pull strings for this person, and he was apparently arrested again the other day. And those people that have come forward, I'd only applaud you, and you should keep going with it. And as a result of that, now he's taken to driving around, following me and my family, trying to get me to provoke me. And even if I open my mouth now, they would run to the guards, and obviously the guards can't wait to try and make this all go away, because there's issues that I have with the guards also myself. Like, they're stooping so low as to follow me around and my loved ones. Will they be suppressed, and will this be hidden and swept under the rug? Of course it will. Unfortunately now, the input of Sinn Féin and how widespread this is that they're getting. No, I didn't mind. I wanted to get widespread. I'd never once in 10 years asked people to stop spreading this shit about me. In fact, I encouraged it, spread it. But at the same time, asked, where did it come from? But I was in contact with a couple of journalists, and I was emailing them off of different emails because I don't trust certain people. But there was one particularly in Waterford who I went to actually 7 years about this, so he knows all the ins and outs. And he covered a story about the alleged historic sexual abuse up in the local charity. Obviously, he only covered the story after somebody else covered the story, because he hadn't the balls to do it himself. And basically, they started blocking me now. This is the new thing now. So this is being pushed. You can put two and two together yourself, and you can surmise who would have the network to push this into a kind of journalism and put them in fear of covering a story. What's been said about me, the slander and all this kind of shit, it doesn't get more serious. What I'm saying about them, it doesn't get more serious. So it's common sense to have this investigated, transparency. Do you know what I mean? And in doing so, you would hold me accountable for what I'm after doing, would you not? Unless, of course, there's some truth in what I'm saying. And the majority of people in Waterford know there's truth in what I'm saying. Any persons, i.e. politicians, past and present, Garda, solicitors, bishops, Tussler representatives that are pulling strings to stop this getting any kind of publicity and transparency, these people should be brought out and highlighted. And they should be questioned on why they're impeding this. I showed how my channel went from on YouTube went from 1,000 views to I think it's 11,000 views. That happened after the dinner down the Tower Hotel that was held by Sinn Féin, and it is what it is. It was a veiled threat. Let's be honest about it. I was supposed to get worthy seeing the 10,000 views and kind of back out of this, but I won't be backing out of nothing. That's not a bravado thing. It's just this needs to come out. these people need to keep it covered up, and that's as simple as that. And this is why they're encouraging waving that shit in their face, all that sexual slander. Why don't you take it off them and go up to the guards? Don't tell them what you're doing with it. Just take it, go up to the guards and just say, I got this off of such and such a person, and we'll trace it the whole way back. Like my ex now is promoting that she's fucking a part of Tussle. She put a story in the Independent there the 22nd of October, I believe, saying she's 15 years off her drugs. I won't get into all that, but I just say like this woman is a dangerous liar. She's the front of this Baha'i religion. I spoke about this religion and about how they look down their nose on like drug addicts and stuff like this. But what they did is they needed someone to be the face of the religion, to kind of to interact with vulnerable kind of people coming off of drugs, and my ex is just that, and this is it. I've also spoke about how Tussle were pushing this religion. I actually uploaded the ad, and I'll upload all of this now again on my new website. But how my ex can go on fucking podcasts and be given the media attention while I have to be suppressed through the media. Like, what does that tell you? It tells you that someone is pushing this through the media. My ex being promoted by Tussle. There's so much I could really say here, but I fucking can't legally. All I just say is that she doesn't meet the criteria to be supported by Tussle. Like, she failed to mention how the numerous court orders that she broke fucking 10 years ago. She failed to mention how she tried to ruin my wedding, how she tried to ruin my mother's funeral, like all this stuff. And this person is supposed to be a fucking role model. Do you know what I mean? Like, the person who started this is still employed by Waterford Tussle. She's a psychologist out in Tramore, husband and wife. Anne and Pat Carey, I've always said this, got recruited through the psychology class out in Tramore. Like, this can all be checked. Do you know what I mean? She had previous engagements with my family or as a witness in the case. So ethically, she should not have been anywhere near my family. But this woman has a God complex and thinks that she can do what she wants. And unfortunately, she is allowed to do what she wants because no one regulates him and no one fucking pulls him up on it. I don't expect anyone to just drop everything and just start supporting me. I understand that. And the whole analytics on my channel. Like, if you want to join my channel, I'll be uploading my .com soon, and I'm going to explain in a concise manner all of this crazy stuff. And I'm going to say the names of people that are involved, and I'm going to connect how many of these people were able to turn to a section of Sinn Féin members. Do you know what I mean? And I think that should be an issue. I've wrote to all the parties, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, the Green Party, People Before Profit, Sinn Féin. I've wrote to all the parties, so all the top parties, they know what's going on, and there wasn't one of them even acknowledged me. Do you know what I mean? But I just wanted to prove a point of how they all know what's going on, and they're all conveniently looking the other way. Because at the end of the day, I don't have anything to offer to these parties. Do you know what I mean? And if they were to really investigate or look into what I'm saying, it would undermine the whole party, and there'd be so many jobs fucking lost. And so the way they look at it is like, it's just me and I'm collateral damage. Like, would you really trust some of these politicians there now that are pulling strings for fucking like trying to protect the historic sexual abuse that went on up in the charity? Not to mention the nepotism, not to mention you have a solicitor who misled a fucking judge, misled our client. Like, should these people be trusted? Then you have this like weirdo psychologist employed by Tussle recruiting for her own religion, and then the whole ethics like of that religion, like, that needs to be spoken about. Like, Scientology is a registered religion. You don't see fucking HSE promoting that. So why would the HSE decide to like start pushing the Baha'i religion? So obviously someone within the Baha'i religion that has contact with Tussle arranged this. Now, I've always spoken about this. So there's a reason why Tussle are pushing this religion. I spoke about that sexual slander that was spread about me, right? Down Spring Garden Alley, it can be traced back to my ex. Barrack Street, it can be traced back to my ex. Tramore, it can be traced back to my ex. Now, all three people didn't know each other. So basically, it was my ex. And she was doing this. This was all put together, obviously, by a psychologist. This whole social shunning shite, making me a pariah in the town. Like, you can tell this is all psychology steeped. There's so many high profile people now involved. They're desperate for this not to fucking get out. So they have to really, really destroy my character. And that, to be honest with you, it is what it is, like, fucking at this stage. But, like, to be harassing my loved ones and stuff, like, I've had all this, like, you harass me mother and stuff, and you know what I mean? Like, that speaks volumes about these people, and you're going to vote these people back in again. Are you kidding me? Like, do you know what I mean? And if it's about any sexual, like, slander, as I've just spoken about, you would be looking into the historic sexual allegations regarding the charity in Waterford, and the reason you're not is because he has political influence. Do you know what I mean? Not to mention trading of information with a present politician. I'll speak about all of this in a more concise manner over the next few weeks there now. I'm aware there's a huge push to try to get people to ignore me and not share me stuff. Like the fucking integrity of journalism in Ireland, where they can be like pressurized by political organisations. Like, I know I probably sound like fucking Donald Trump here now, going on about CNN saying it's fucking fake news. But when you have like the integrity of freedom of speech being undermined, when I left that Baha'i religion, that's, you can check out this BIHAI. In the videos coming up, I'll speak about how and why I left that Baha'i religion, and all this as a result of me leaving that is what triggered all of this. Like, there's information that has paperwork that can all be checked out, just like in Waterford Council. What I'm saying, there's paperwork can all be checked out, just like my allegations against Mr. Cunnan can all be checked out. Waterford Gardaí can all be checked out, but they won't even take the documents, because if they take the documents, they would have to investigate, and that's essentially it. I don't have the tens of thousands of euros to go through the High Courts, and being honest with you, I don't think I would, because like realistically, where would they get me? I'll explain the goings on in that Baha'i religion and why I left, and how unethical this organisation is, and now it's being pushed by the HSE. Are you kidding me? You have me ex, as I said, being given a platform up in Dublin, going around pretending she's the next fucking saviour. Now she loves this because she loves being the centre of attention, but now she's promoting that she's helping people out, and she's, how do I say it? She's fabricating her past to try and clean up her image, and that's the only way to put it. Like, this is 100% true, and this is being pushed by Tussle, and it's being pushed by this psychologist employed by Tussle, because she's trying to lure people into this Bowie religion, and that's 100% true. Like, realistically, I'm one person on my own trying to push this kind of into the kind of mainstream, and it's being suppressed by not only politicians and our party, but by Waterford Gardaí, Waterford Council, fucking Tussle. Do you know what I mean? And realistically, if I was lying in any way, I can guarantee I'd be held accountable, because they're desperate to keep this kind of cover up, as we all know. So why aren't I being held accountable for some of the stuff I say? Realistically, because it's true. That's why, and they don't want to give me a platform. All the stuff that I said, like files now being edited and doctored and documents going fucking missing. Like, what does that tell you? Like, just on the off chance that the journalist might pick this up, or that it might be investigated. Sure, they can't really investigate now, because there's a load of the file that are going missing. That alone speaks volumes. I'll leave it there anyway. So I have me.com. I'm going to upload it there now when the time is right. I need some time to deal with some personal issues. And then we have the journalists, predominantly in Waterford. I have to say, like, fuck, I've never met so many cowardly people in all my life. Not saying that they're all like that, because there has been some journalists that have answered me up and down Ireland, and kind of, they obviously went to college and trained for the right reasons. Like, why would you train to become a journalist and then fucking tiptoe around certain topics? Do you know what I mean? So I'm just going to leave it there. I'll be back in touch when the time is right. I haven't left anything go. I understand the kind of stuff that I'm saying is pretty serious, and I understand how a certain person was arrested yet again. regarding historic sexual allegations that went on in a certain charity in town, and I've spoken about the nepotism in this charity. And all I can say is, any other people, they should come forward. But in order to come forward, you should definitely speak to a solicitor first out of the town. And if you think like the whole kind of harassment to me like is off-putting, like I probably have to help myself if I'm being honest with you. But like you shouldn't feel intimidated or bullied into not coming forward. And any politicians that are protecting this person, any politicians should be called out, and any party that are protecting this politician, whether it's past or present, should also be fucking called out. Yeah, so I'll leave it there anyway. Now there'll be an encouragement of people not to subscribe to my channel, not to hear me out, and an effort to try and suppress what I'm saying. And as I've said already in the previous video, if this was about the sexual slander that was spread, do you know what I mean? They would also be trying to out the historic sexual allegations regarding a person in a charity in Waterford. But this is about suppressing what I have to say, and it's about suppressing the allegations regarding this person also in the charity. So I'll leave it there. Thanks. I'll be in touch.